By connecting Shopify, our e-commerce store in Framer is really starting to come along. Let's recap. We first connected Shopify and built our product pages. In the last video, we added product variants, added our cart and checkout, as well as personalized upsell experiences to increase the average order value. In this final video of this series, we'll add the last missing piece and then publish our store to the internet, all without writing any code. Let's go. Okay, it's the final stretch. We'll break the rest of the site down into the final parts. We'll start by building our catalog page, adding dynamic filtering so visitors can find the perfect product for them. Then we'll cover adding support for multi-currency with Shopify markets so we can sell our product in multiple countries. And lastly, we'll get to hit that beautiful blue publish button and push our site live on the internet. Okay, so I have a bit of a base of a page here as well as some placeholder content, but nothing's actually connected yet. So what I'm going to do is actually first go to the insert menu and I'm going to drag in a collection list. So we're just going to put this here on the page and I'm just going to replace this sort of placeholder cards here and actually put them inside of my collection list. So we'll just remove them. We'll get rid of this content here. So we'll just remove that and we'll paste in our card. Now we need to change some layout stuff here, obviously. So let's go to our direction. So we'll go into the card. Let's set the width to be, say, fill. And then inside of the product here, we'll also set it to be fill. And inside of the products, you guessed it, we're going to set it to be fill. We're just working our way up the tree. Now, inside of this collection here, what we'll do is change to a grid layout, and we're going to set a total of 3 columns. So when I preview this and make this say a little bit bigger, those cards are stretching just like so. And that looks good. So that sets up the bones for our collection list. Now we're also going to remove the limit because we actually want to show all the products. Now, as you can tell, that's quite a few, but we will add dynamic filtering in this video to make it really simple to sort or find certain products. But what we need to do first is actually go ahead and connect these sort of elements here within these cards to the actual CMS collection that holds our Shopify data. So I have this image hover component here, which basically just has 2 states, and I want to show 2 different images, one on not hover and one while I'm hovering. So we'll go to image 1, we'll set that variable to be image 1, and we'll go to image 2 and set that variable to be image 2, which is being linked directly from my CMS, which is being sourced directly from Shopify. We'll also do the same with the product name. So we'll go down to the content here and we'll set that variable to be to the title. Same with the actual category here. We could set this content to be to our category. Now we also want to display the price. So to do this, what I'm actually going to do is go to the Frameship Plugin and we're going to go to components. We're going to go to product and we actually have a specific product for price. So we'll just drag this one in just like so, and we'll paste that into our card. So we'll set the distribute to be to the center, and we've got the ability to show the price or even the compare at price. Now on this card, I don't really think it makes sense to show a comparable price. So we'll just remove that one and we'll just work with this one component here. And I'm going to connect that to my Shopify data. And you can see it's already dynamically updating, which is awesome. And we can also change the styling here as well. So let's go ahead, set the price to be, say, instrument serif for the font there. And that's looking pretty good. Maybe we'll even change the color as well. Okay, so now when I actually preview this, I get a list of all my different products. On hover, we actually show the second image that's being displayed inside of Shopify, and all of this content is working as expected. And then let's say I actually selected on a product, so say this one here, then it's going to take me to that product page or just my CMS detail page. Now, where we actually want to get creative is by adding some filtering. So what I'm going to do is actually just draw a new frame between this headline and this collection here. And we'll just put it in here just like so. And this is where we're going to essentially store our filters. So we'll set the width to be 100%. And let's set the height just for now to be around 60 pixels. We'll get rid of this fill color and we'll add a bit of a border. So we'll set it to be, say, light gray. And we're just going to leave this as a placeholder for now. Now, for our filtering, we're actually going to use Superfields, which is a plugin that lets you add dynamic filtering to any CMS collection and is compatible with Frameship. So to do this, we'll press Command K on our keyboard and we'll open up the Superfields plugin. Now, what I'm going to do is complete the setup guide. So let's just go and build from scratch. And I'm going to add this main Superfields component to the canvas. Now, what I'm going to do is essentially replace this collection with the Superfields collection. So to do this, we're going to grab the collection list here, and we're actually going to move it off to the canvas, so not on the page itself. Then we'll take this Superfields collection, and we'll actually put it where that collection just was, so on the page. And we'll move it below here. And let's just set the width of this one to be 100%. And now what I can do is go into this Superfields collection and actually connect it to my products collection list, which now sits off the canvas. And if we set the height of this to be fit content, then if we preview this, just like before, we basically get our same sort of collection list. But the difference is we can now add dynamic filtering to make this whole website actually have a proper search experience. So let's go to Superfields, click continue, and you can see we've got a bunch of different inputs that we can add. So for example, if we want to add some filter buttons, what we could do is just drag and drop that filter into here. Let's turn layout on within my frame here, and we'll set the distribute to be to the start. Now, if I go into this component here, I can actually set things up and choose what I want to filter by. So if I go into setup, we can filter by any field name. Now, it's really important to note that the field name I write in here needs to correlate exactly with what's written in my CMS. So if I go to my CMS here, and let's take a look at what we could filter by. So let's say we want to filter by product type. You'll notice it's written as product type. So if we want to filter by that field, we need to write that inside of this component. So we go to field name, and we would write product type. Now we also want to make sure that we're using the right field type, which in this case is text. And let's just preview this. So I'll preview my site. And now you'll notice that those product types are actually being pulled through. So if I click on women, then it's going to show me all the products related to women. If I click on home, it's going to show me all the products related to home. And if I click on none, well, it's going to show me all the products that don't actually have a product type at all. So all this is being pulled through directly from Shopify. So it's going to depend on what product types you actually already have set up inside of your Shopify. Now let's update some of the styling of this as well. So let's set the radius to be 0. Let's update the font here to be, say, instrument serif. Let's update the text size, make it, say, a little bit bigger. And inside of this sort of frame here, let's just add a little bit of padding. Let's say 15 pixels. And let's set the height of this one to be fit content. And there we go. That's looking pretty good. Now, I also want to add the ability to sort by price. So say lowest to highest or highest to lowest. Now, the great thing about Superfields is we can actually stack these components on top of each other. So again, we'll open up the Superfields plugin. We'll go to inputs and we'll go down to sorting. Now let's actually add a sorting dropdown. So I'm going to add this in here and let's actually set this up. So we'll go to options and we'll essentially just configure our options. So the field name we'll set as price because that's what it's coming through as in the CMS. And we'll set the title of this to be lowest and we'll sort it from A to Z. So 0 to 100 or 0 to highest. And then we'll add another option, which is going to go from Z to A. And again, it's going to be the field name of price and we'll set the title to be highest. Cool. Let's preview this and make sure that it worked. So right now, let's say we select a filter of all, sort by lowest to highest. It's going to show the lowest products first. If I change the highest, it's going to show the most expensive items. And then I can also filter based on that. So if I set women items, then we're just going to show that item. Home, none, you get the idea. And let's also tweak the styling of this component as well. So let's set the radius to be 0. And let's set the height to be 100%. Actually, what we'll do inside of this frame here is actually remove the padding completely. So we kind of get this full sort of section here. And then what I'm going to do is set the distribute to be space between. So this gets pushed right to the right-hand side and this stays on the left-hand side. And the last thing we need to do is just add some padding on the left. So let's say we add 15 pixels or so. Okay, so let's try this out. I'm going to republish my website. So here I have my homepage. Let me remove all of my items from my cart so we can just press on the little close here. And now you can see we've got all of our products. Let's go into the clock. Let's add 2 of these clocks. As you can see, they get added to the cart. Let's filter here by none. And then let's also sort from highest to lowest. Let's actually select the 2-seater couch and let's also add 2 of them to my cart. And there you go. You can see that it's actually working. And then when I click on checkout, it's going to redirect me to Shopify to complete my payment information. Okay, so we've made a lot of progress and we're almost done, but there's one really cool thing I want to show you as well, especially if you're working on larger stores that might ship to multiple locations worldwide. So inside of Shopify, we actually have something called markets, which essentially lets us customize different product prices and show different currencies for different items. Now, if you want to learn more about multi-currency and markets, I'll leave a link to the Frameship documentation down below. But basically inside of my Shopify account here, I have all these different markets set up. Now, with this in mind, I can go back to my Framer project. I can open the Frameship plugin. We'll go to components. We'll go to catalog and you'll see that we actually have a bunch more components that we can begin to explore. For example, the market button, which actually lets us toggle between different markets. So let's actually go into our navbar because I actually want to put it here and let's drag in this market dropdown. So I'm actually going to bring this one in and let's actually wrap it inside the same frame as the cart so we can keep it to the right-hand side. Set the width to be fit content and we'll reduce that gap down to say 20 pixels. Okay, that's it. So let's actually preview our website by publishing it. And now you'll see automatically we've been able to detect all the different markets that are being used on my Shopify store. So let's say, for example, if I change the price from Australian dollars to Japanese yen, then it's actually automatically going to update, which is mega powerful and extremely useful for international customers. And this stays throughout my site. So let's say I click onto a product and go add to cart, then you'll notice that everything is also updated in the currency of yen. So this is just a simple but really powerful feature, especially if you're working on a larger e-commerce store. And the great thing is all of this is just built in Framer. You just use these components by the actual Frameship plugin, which kind of lets you kind of add all this interactivity without having to use any code. And the great thing is you're not losing out on any Shopify functionality. When a sale comes through in Shopify, you handle that on Shopify. So all that point of sale, post-purchase stuff that happens, it can actually stay in a platform that's built for it, which is Shopify. But the great thing is we can actually use Framer to build our whole Shopify front end and to actually design our store, which is really great for designers like you or even marketing teams. So just like that, we've built a full e-commerce store in Framer using Shopify, and we've covered a lot. We synced our Shopify data over to Framer, built our product pages, the checkout experience, added upsells, and even multi-currency support. The most wild part is we're able to do this all in Framer without writing a single line of code. Throughout this crash course, we used the Frameship plugin to make the connection between Shopify and Framer possible, and you can start building your store for free with the link below. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you want more Framer tutorials just like it, subscribe to the channel because we put out new videos here every single week. And if you're interested in mastering Framer, like truly mastering it, feel free to check out my A to Z course. It's designed to teach you Framer properly, as well as give you the skill sets to actually be able to find clients and be able to charge more money because you're also the developer. But until next time, I'll catch you later.